Say, when you're in the market for a brand new video game controller, do you look for something that's 3 decades old, too small to hold, and completely impractical and useless in actual function? If so, I've got the controllers for you. These are the TOMY Blind Orb Classic Nintendo controllers, officially licensed. It's a real deal. I'm Delta Zero of Living Vicariously HD, here to be your guide for shopping for new controllers. You can get these things at a place called Five Below. If you're not familiar with Five Below, it's like a dollar store where everything is $5 or below. Problem, one of the Five Belows by my house, or like probably 20 minutes away from my house, is the utter gutter of Five Belows. Things are stolen all the time, as you can see in this overlay video. I found one surviving TOMY classic controller orb there. The rest were stolen. And why are they all stolen? Well, because people suck. But also because nobody wants this Wii remote. They want the classic controllers. That is a Famicom controller, the Japanese equivalent to the Nintendo Entertainment System, the classic 80s Nintendo. These are based off of toys from Japan. And they, from my knowledge, they originally had LED lights where you would press like the center button, like the on a 64, the big red button probably. They're just the big A button on the Wii remote, and they would light up. They were keychain lights. But somebody had the ingenious idea to bring them over to the West, remove the lights to save money, and still charge $5 for them. So bravo, you got me. I'm a sucker. So here's the deal. I found one of these in the wild, and I realized there was a Five Below in a much nicer town. And I went and, sure enough, there was a ton of them there. So I got several of these to look at today. TOMY, or Tommy, or however you pronounce it, make a lot of these cool little gizmos, usually from Japan. So, well, let's see who we have in here. And it is, oh, wow, look at this. It's the Famicom controller. This finish is incredible. This is a nice little thing to have as a keychain. You would probably press the start button or the select button, but they have since removed the LED, so I don't know. Oh yeah, the light obviously would go right here. Look at that. The light used to go right there. They didn't even try to mask the fact that they took the lights out of these things. That's kind of funny. That's very cool, though. I like this. And I'm not going to look at the pamphlet yet, because for those of you who are watching who don't know, there are more than the 3 advertised. All right, from this point on, all the rest of these are from the nicer Five Below. So, will that produce nicer items? Absolutely not. Who do we have here? We have... Ah, see, I told you this wasn't advertised. This is the Famicom. Awesome. I'm so glad I got that. This is the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo equivalent controller. These were popular in Europe and in Japan. They're not the purple ones that we had in the States. You can pretend to press the buttons. They don't actually work. These are just, this is actually the size of the Switch controllers. There's a joke for you. These are very tiny. Honestly, I could see myself actually playing some kind of a temporary game on my cell phone with this thing. It's not that bad as far as just like pressing these big buttons. It's interesting. Light would be right here in the actual unscathed version of this controller for the Super Famicom. I figure when's the next time I'm going to find like Super Famicom and, you know, these awesome... I love this, by the way. This is really cool. The original Famicom controllers here in the States. So 2 for 2, we got a tremendous turnout so far. Uh-oh, we got a duplicate. But that's okay, because I love this controller enough to be okay with the duplicate. It is the Famicom controller once again, with that nice gold finish. They put a lot of effort into making this. I mean, it's just a maroon mold with a special gold plate finish on there. So that's cool. I will have player 1 and player 2. These were actually hardwired to the Famicoms in Japan, so thankfully these are free from their wires. I will definitely put this in my backpack or something. Very cool. Alright. Alright, we got it! Wow, this turned out great. I only got one duplicate and I got all the ones I wanted. Sweet! Wow, this is huge. So here is the Nintendo 64 TOMY keychain. The start button would be the LED light, I believe, that would come out of there. This is incredible. There's a little joystick is sticking out and everything. They actually put a lot of good work into this to replicate it as much as possible for such a small scale. That is a cool little controller. They even put the little, what is it, the Z trigger on the back. And wow, even this thing. One last look at these beautiful non-LED light controllers. Here's the Famicom with that nice finish. It has like even has like the nice, we would call that like gradient noise, I guess. I don't know. Lines going through the gold there on the panel. And then you have this super thick Super Nintendo controller. This thing is much thicker than the original was. Very well designed. But my favorite has to be the 64 one. It's such an interesting shape, and they nailed it. And it actually legitimately looks like it's a 64 controller through and through, even down to the expansion bay thing for memory cards and the rumble pack and all that. Well, thank you for watching this video on these useless but very cool classic Nintendo controller keychains. I'm Delta Zero of Living Vicariously. Subscribe for much more.